Today's math strategy video is on understanding products of fractions. So we're going to look at kind of an example problem to just kind of talk about what is multiplication of fractions. So we're going to look at a whole number multiplied by a fraction and what that might look like in a model. So this says James has 3 cylinders of water. 2/3 of the water is used for watering his garden. How much is left? Now, something very important is to not get this confused with subtracting fractions. It says that he has 3 cylinders of water and then 2/3 of the water. 2/3 of. When you see this of, it's going to mean that you're going to multiply because we're looking for the value of something, the value of 2/3 within these 3 cylinders of water. So let's draw our water. I'm going to fill these. I'm going to fill them up for us. Okay, so it says 2/3. So this tells me that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break this into thirds so that I can better understand the problem. Okay, so it says, now that I've got these filled up and I've got them divided into my thirds, it says 2/3 of the water is used for watering his garden. Okay, so that means that this right here is gone. This has been used, this 1/3, and this is the other 2/3. So I'm going to kind of color it out. So that means that this is the only portion of the water. So this was poured out to water the garden. So this is left. So I'm going to do that over here as well. And then I'm going to label it so that I know what I've done. Okay, so this is 2/3 gone. Okay, that's gone, and this is gone. So these sections are gone. So that leaves me with just this right here. So this would be 3 times 2/3. I want to know the value of the 2/3. So I want to know what is left. So if I look at this, I have 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. So if I went back and filled this up in another, let me use a yellow so we can see it right here. If I went and I used these and filled up another container, I would have one whole container filled up because this portion, and this makes another whole. And then this, oh, I meant to do it in a different color. This third and this third make another container. So there were 2 cylinders that were used to water the garden. Used on the garden. So that means that this right here is what is left. So 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 means 1 container is left. So if we look at our problem right here, any whole number I'm going to put it over 1 because this, essentially means division. So 1 divided into 3 is 3. So 1/3 would be 3, and then I can multiply across. 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 2, that tells me that 2 cylinders are what were used, but what's left? There is 1 container left, or 3 sets of a third left. Okay, let's look at using a number line to understand the products of multiplying fractions. So let's say that I had 2 fractions. Let's say I had 3/4 times 2/3, okay? So remember that when I'm multiplying anything with fractions, I'm trying to find the value of something. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did for whenever I was adding and subtracting. So I am going to cut these into, hold on, I've got probably a little too, I'm going to cut this into fourths, because this is what I have, 3/4. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to break that into thirds. So here was 0, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then 4/4. So right here is my 3/4, but I want to know what 2/3 of this would be. So now my whole, sorry, I don't know if you can see that, are 12ths. So 12 is going to be my new denominator that I have, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12s because I have to look at what out of the whole is going to tell me what my new denominator is going to look like. But in order for me to find the value of 2/3, I'm going to look at just what pieces do I have here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9. So 2/3, what is the equivalent fraction for 2/3 would be something over 9. I think that's 6/9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count 2 6/9. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But remember, I'm not using this fraction. I'm going to use 6 and then my new denominator. So this would be 6/12. So 3/4 times 2/3 would be 6/12. So just know that even though I have this, I've got this 3/4 right here, I'm trying to find the value of 2/3 within it. So when I multiply, even though I'm multiplying here, I'm going to be getting something smaller than what I started with, because fractions, this is multiplying another fraction by another fraction, which that means I'm not multiplying 2 wholes together. So I'm going to get something that is smaller, which is 6/12, and 6/12 is actually half. So that is the end of today's math strategy video.